Welcome to another mandala video. I'm in Valentine's Day mood and today we're going to paint a heart stone. I cast this myself with a mold that I got from AliExpress. I will link that one down below, but it's basically a 3D heart, and as you can see I have already painted it pink. I will tell you what paints we're going to use today, and let me also show you the stencil that I used, which is this one. This is from the Happy Dotting Company, and I will link it down below as well. And I just grabbed them all. So that's what we're going to use today. You can kind of see the colors here already, because I have been painting smaller hearts to sell for a local store here. And this is basically the color palette that I'm vibing with right now. So that's also what we're going to use. However, let me first tell you the base layer that is on here. That is Fuchsia Pop from Decoart. I'm also going to use Petal Pink. Yes, so those are the pinks. And then for the reds, I basically have two reds. That's what I have. I have Red Alert from Decoart, and I have Red Barn, which is a multi-surface satin. So that is what those are the colors. I also have Pearl, and I have a Nuvo drops in Ivory Seashell. That's the color palette of today. Let me explain what I have here. So this is Petal Pink. This is Petal Pink with Fuchsia Pop. This is Fuchsia Pop with a hint of Petal Pink, but I'm not going to use this one because it's the same color as the background, so you can kind of forget that we have that one. And then here for the reds, I have that Red Barn here, then I have Red Alert here, and here I have a mix of Red Barn and Red Alert. Yes, I, however, am going to start with the Nuvo drop because I actually like it if the center dot is raised. So let's aim for that circle. Like that. Is it in the center? Yeah, I think it kind of is. I think it kind of is. Let's make it a little bit bigger. I am going to grab my... I think a 0.8 millimeter. And I am going to start with a pink row. So I'm grabbing the Petal Pink. And we're going to do a ring of dots around the center ring. We're going to go to the darkest red. I think I have to move one size up. This is kind of a this one reminds me of the folk art. So I'm actually going to go a size up to the one. I am also going to start a new row. Yeah, we can do one more that's a little bit more bold maybe. So let me grab my 2 millimeter and let's go one red lighter. Starting a new row. I think we're going to go to a 4. Yeah, I'm going to go to a 4, and then the basically the darkest pink that we're going to use, which is the combination of the Petal Pink and Fuchsia Pop. We're going to go every other guide mark, but I am not going like, I'm skipping this one, so I'm one to the side, and that has to do with the design that we're going to do after this. Now I'm going to go to Pearl, and I'm going to go to a 1, and I'm going to make a dot. And then a dot and drag. Instead of walking the dots, I thought this was a nice change. Let's go to the bright red and 1.5. And I'm going to make 3 dots. Basically, it's one on either side of the guide mark, and then one in the middle below that. I'm going to go to the 1. And we're going to do another swoosh pattern. You can also use a brush for this. But I can be a little bit more basically narrow with this. And I want to do brush stroke in a minute, so I need to have some space. We're going to outline or basically frame this small petal. Now I'm going to grab a brush that's very long. Why? I don't know. I just like it. Maybe it's easier to grab a brush that's smaller, but what I like about this is that it has a very nice tip. Why are my fingers so dirty? I don't know, but it has a very nice tip, so that's why I actually really like this one. I am just going to use the tip of the brush though, and I'm going to go to, let's go to the darkest red, because I can. So I'm basically using a very small part of the brush, and I'm going to outline like that. And you can kind of see that guide mark that I have here. That's where it's going to stop or start. Just stop or start, whatever you want. Brush strokes here can be extra tricky because of the curves of the stone. Sometimes it's just easier to hold it in your hand and then kind of move the stone when you're doing the brush stroke. I'll probably show you a little bit later, because when we're going to go a little bit more lower, I need to pick up the stone anyway. Next, I am going to go to a 6mm rod, and let's go to the lightest pink. Kind of have to think a little bit. And I kind of have that cross here, that part, that's where I want the dot to be. So right in between these two petals. Sometimes it's a little bit tricky to get them nice and round on a stone like this, but we're going to try anyway. And if it's not nice and round, we can kind of make it nice and round. Now here it will be very tricky. So I'm just going to kind of line up. And then you can kind of see that it does a weird thing there, right? So I'm just going to make that into a circle. And honestly, I think it's more important that it looks round when the stone is kind of lying down and you're looking at it than it is perfectly circular, if that makes any sense. Okay, next I'm going to go to pearl again. We're going to go to 1 millimeter and I'm going to walk the dot. So I'm going to start with a dot at the tip in the center and then I'm going to walk the dots. I'm going to go to a 1.5 millimeter. And I'm going to make a dot. And then I'm going to dot and drag. And I will show you in a minute what that looks like. So I don't know if you can see what I'm doing. But that's what it looks like. So you should be able to kind of tell what I'm doing here. So first I make a dot. And then I'm going to dot and drag. And this is what I mean. So now I'm kind of going to curve with what I'm doing. So I'm kind of moving the stone in to kind of help me make the shape that I want. And I don't need it always, but just sometimes it's easier to hold the stone instead of having it on a flat surface. I'm going to go to the darkest red with, I think it's a 2 that I have here. Going to make 3 dots. Kind of the same thing as we did there. That's what I'm going to do here. And now it can get tricky because it's easier to pick up the stone so you can kind of see what you're doing, but you're also right now having a lot of wet paint. So you kind of need to be careful with that. Or wait until everything is dry. Now I'm going to do brush strokes with the dark red. And again, you can also do this with a stylus tool. I'm going to go to the mid-tone red. We use the dark red, so I'm going to go to the next red. This is kind of going to be tricky, I think. We're going to frame the petal. Like that. Oh, that's not the correct red. And now I'm actually, I don't know if you can tell, but I'm curving the stone with the movement that I'm making. You don't have to do that, but it just makes it easier for me. Okay, I'm just going to hold the stone. We're going to go to pearl. Fortunately, I could open it with one hand. That was nice. Okay, I am going to go to, let's go to the 1mm. And we're going to walk the dots halfway up. I'm going to go to the lightest red. And I can still frame the petal. I have that guide mark here, right? I want to stay on either side of the guide mark, so they will just be a little bit shorter. It can be a little bit thicker though. The reason I'm doing it this way is because I don't want the brush strokes to touch. I think I'm going to go to pearl. Let's go to the 0.8, and with the other side of the tool, which is the 1.5, I'm going to make a dot there. Can you see? And then I'm going to flip the tool. I'm going to drag it up and down. A little bit up and then a little bit down, so that you get that little kind of little diamond shape. You can also do this with the Nuvo drops if you want to. And if you're working on a thing like this, make sure that you stabilize it before you go and drag. Oh, here I don't have that much room, I can tell. So just going to leave it as a dot, because it will look weird otherwise. So then I'm going to leave this one as a dot as well, just because I can. I actually have an idea. Let's try this. I hope it will work, because I'm going to make a dot on that dot, but on the bottom side of the dot. And then I'm going to drag it in towards the center. I think that's cool. So again, the dot is to the inner part of the, basically the pink dot underneath. And then we will drag it in. For here, I'll do top dots with the, or shall I do top dots with the bright red? I think I want to do it with the bright red. So I'm going to go to the 2.5, the bright red, and we're going to top dot these. But again, I want them to be a little bit more towards the center. So not really in the middle of the dot, but towards the bottom or the top, just, I don't know. So that you kind of get those half moon shapes. And if you prefer them in the center, do them in the center. I don't think we're quite done yet. I'm not sure though. I'm going to let it dry now so that I can handle it properly if I want to add anything else. You know, for instance, here I will probably just want to do something like this, which I actually quite enjoy, but it has to be a little bit, well, dry before I can do that. So let me do that, and then I'll be right back when the stone is dry and we can finish it off. Okay, everything is dry and I'm kind of looking at it. I think I do want to do something here. Let's grab the Nuvo and Ivory Seashell. And right here, let me put it down a little bit. Right here, I'm going to make a dot. You can see me kind of waiting a little bit because it will flow there where it wants to go, basically. I'm actually going to take my time with this, with just these two, kind of holding it, moving it around a little bit so that the dots kind of stay centered instead of flowing down or up. Because if I hold it like this, I think you can kind of see that it starts to flow down a little bit. So I just wanted to settle just a little. This is like watching paint dry, literally. So let me put down all the dots and then I'll be back and show you how it looks before I am going to varnish. And what I'm going to use actually for varnish is this. This is a No White UV and LED top coat. I bought mine at AliExpress. I think Amazon has them as well. And it will make it very, very nice and glossy. But first we kind of have to make sure that these dots are doing their thing. Okay, the dots are on, as you can see. They're not dry yet, so I'm kind of alternating between putting it upside down and then right side up again to kind of keep the dots a little bit more in the middle. But yeah, here is the finished stone. And I could show you what it looks like when the UV layer is on. However, the lights will just be it will be so reflective that it will be very difficult to see in the light. So that's why I'm showing this the way it is now. And I really like it. So this one will not be for sale in my store. Because this is going to a physical store here in the town where I live. However, if you want to order something like this from me, just check me out on Instagram. My Instagram handle will be in the description box and send me a DM to get your own custom piece. It could be a rock, it can be a painting, whatever you want. Yes. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have an amazing Valentine, and if you're not subscribed already, please do so because I would love to have you. If you have any color combination requests for videos, let me know down below. And then this is it. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down in the comment section below. I'm going to wish you a fantastic day, a fabulous evening, happy dotting, and I will see you soon in another video. Bye.